Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Motorcyclist Podcast. This is where we talk about motorcycles and what makes them great. Topics on this podcast always change, but the thing that always remains is two-wheeled fun. On this episode, we are going to talk about one of the longest running production motorcycles in modern history, and that's the Honda XR650L. Before we get into it, introductions. We've got editor Adam Wahid, photo director Jeff Allen, and you got myself, executive editor Justin Dawes. So, what the heck? What's up with the XR650L? Why has it been around for 32 friggin' years?
It's just Stone Age, Stone Axe reliable.
Yeah, it is super reliable, and I'm a fan, so I like it.
Yeah, it's a Stone Axe from the Stone Age.
Yeah,
it is ancient. It is. I think I was 16 years old when that thing came out. That's wild. So
you're older than a Stone Axe.
It must be. Yes, I'm old. Look at my beard. What do you expect? So yeah, let's get into why it's lasted for so long and people are still into this thing. And I think
I said, I'm a fan. I like it. I mean, it's got its shortcomings, but
yeah. Well, let's
especially
get into
with this new. Sorry, with this new colorway, we were talking about that a couple episodes ago. You have a bike that's 30 plus years old, more than that, and in its new 2025 colorway with the black XL wheels and the colors on it, it makes it look somewhat, I'm not going to say modern, but current. Like you look at that bike and you're like, wow, that thing looks kind of cool. I think at least.
Yeah, I agree. The updated black wheels and the on the white, it definitely makes it look like a modern motorcycle, even if it is, fairly long in the tooth.
And that retro theme, that retro modern theme, that Suzuki was doing with his Katana. I mean, that theme's kind of passed already, but that was a thing a couple years ago. What's old is new again, sort of.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. Well, let's get into a quick history of this thing, so everyone knows what we're talking about.
All right, I got a few fun facts for you. So in 1992, as a 1993 model, Honda paired the chassis from the XR600R, which is kickstart and not street legal, with the motor of the RFVC the Dominator motor, the Dominator 650.
Mm-hmm.
And that was electric start and also street legal. So voila, we have the XR650L, which is now, like you said, Wahid, is now 32 years old. And I believe it's still assembled in Japan to this day.
Mm-hmm.
The original purchase price was $4,300, and all these years later, it's only like $7,000 or approximately.
Yeah, $69.99.
$1
less than $7K.
Yeah, and Justin, you had pointed out that adjusted for inflation, $4,300 would be closer to $8,000. So you could technically say that it's gotten a little bit cheaper or a little bit easier to afford, so to speak.
Yeah, well, it should be. I mean, the tooling's been paid for 28 years.
Yeah, it's still amazing though. For
like the cost to build is radically reduced on that motorcycle. I mean, sure, material costs have gone up and all those things, but they've well made their money back in tooling costs, the cost of R&D, the cost of production, like all that stuff paid for a dozen times by now.
Yeah, granted, but it's, there are very few bikes out there that people would still be willing to pay that have, 30-year-old technology.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, but it's still a feat in itself for a Japanese-made motorcycle to actually come down in price like that. I mean, look at the Japanese-built, Gixxer 600s and CBR 600s, how those things just went up in price, even though they're carrying over motors from, 15 years ago. So kind of cool that the price continues to be whittled down.
Yeah, I think like used prices, if you go buy like a 90s XR650, you can get them for like $2,000-ish, which is, that's not a bad depreciation over 30 years. I think it's pretty good.
And in the used bike market, a lot of those bikes are owned by older guys, so you can find some pretty good examples.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, here where I live in Costa Rica, a well-used 650L is still almost $8,000, $9,000 used.
Yeah. Yeah,
So I imagine
we don't pay that here.
No,
I imagine they're pretty easy to work on too. I've never worked on one, but they can't be that difficult. Honda.
they're big, and there's plenty of room, and there's parts forever for them. So yeah,
well, they're to begin with, they're pretty low maintenance and they're super reliable.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So
I mean, it still has a carburetor on it. There's no fuel injection. There's no ride-by-wire. It is old school to the max. Conventional forks, all the old school stuff. So
I wanted to know how many XR650Ls Honda has sold, and I couldn't get an answer from our friends at Honda. But because I was curious, and I was thinking it's the second longest production run of any current Honda, next to the Goldwing, which is having its 50th anniversary.
Right, but the Goldwing is on its 5th generation, and we're still in generation 1 of that. So
yeah, just in production run in name. Yeah, of course.
In name.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I Googled, and the result from Google was this. You guys have any guesses how many? According to Google,
I would say 300 and worldwide, 750,000.
Wahid?
I was going to say 250,000. 750 is pretty good, solid number too, but I'll go under 250,000.
Okay, so unfortunately, Google wouldn't give me an exact number. All it would say is it's difficult to pinpoint an exact number, but the Honda XR650L is a popular, long-lived motorcycle model. So a reasonable guess would be hundreds of thousands sold worldwide.
Oh, yeah.
So you're both kind of
right.
Win. Yeah. But that's a lot.
Turns out Google's AI isn't that freaking smart.
Yeah, I was honestly disappointed. I thought for sure I was getting a number.
Yeah.
Or at least a range.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but it's not the most nimble dual sport available these days, and you could certainly argue that it's long-lived and reliability. It's better than most in this category as far as reliability.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, why do we still like it, or do you guys even like it in stock form? Dawes, what do you think?
Well, define stock form.
As it comes off the showroom floor. No, I don't like it. I've never really liked it. I always thought the XR600R was way better because it was just leaner and meaner. But I like the idea that it is super reliable, but it's tall, it's heavy, but when you sit on it, it has cramped ergos, but it's a mile high. So it's got a real weird seating position. It's very old school. It's got these bars that are swept back and in your lap, but it's super tall, so it's hard to get on for someone with a shorter inseam. And it's still quite heavy because, it's got a gigantic battery box at the back of the subframe, and, it's just a big motorcycle. So I like it as being an awesome, affordable option for someone that's looking for something that can do a lot of things. But for me personally, no.
Jeff, what about you?
I'm going to disagree because most of its shortcomings are easily addressed in the aftermarket. You're talking about small fuel capacity, and the bars are low and narrow. Both of those things are pretty easy to solve in the aftermarket. So as a dual sport bike for riding dirt road and Jeep 2-track, it's so plush. It's so, the motor is just so tractable. I know we say that a lot, but maybe that's where that phrase came from, was the XR650L, right? It is really, really nice. And it's a amazing commuter bike, being that it's dual sport. if you're in the city, it's fantastic. It's narrow, easy to see over traffic, all that stuff.
All right.
It's
Adam.
It's been a while. It's been a while since I've ridden one in stock form, but as far as I can remember, it was okay. I know we're gonna probably talk about our stories in a little bit, but I did this ride in Mexico last year, and I brought the CRF 450 RX there, and turns out we didn't do a lot of terrain that was meant for the CRF 450 RX. We did more two-track and fire road. And after riding for, 80 miles, I'm like, man, I wish I was on this XR650L right now, just because, that bike would have been a way better tool for the job. Just having that nice plush seat, having that suspension that just kind of glides over the two-track, and not super rough stuff, but rough enough. So, yeah, I don't know. I think there's still a lot of use case for a 2025 XR650L, in stock form.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like, if someone asked about it, I would absolutely recommend it, even though I don't like it. So, I mean, that says a lot about the bike, about how good it is that even if I don't personally like it, I think it's an excellent value and a very cool motorcycle.
So you think it's a good motorcycle? It just doesn't fit your riding.
It's just not my style. It's just, and like I said, that's box stock off the showroom floor, the way it is. It just has some other things I think they could update, and it would make it better. We can talk about that a little bit. But what about, like, Adam? He was starting to get into it, but any like good XR650L stories that you guys may have? I mean, we probably all have them. I know I've got one that I'll get into story time after you guys do yours. So who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Jeff. Adam.
No, you first.
Okay, so
you first.
So my first experiences with the XR650L was during, like, God, how many years ago? It had to be close to 30 years ago. And it was at like a big industry group ride that, we've all done, dual sport ride in northern Arizona. And that area, like, we were in just in and around Flagstaff. That area was perfect for it. It was exactly two-track and dirt road. And I don't have any like crazy, like, getting stuck on this or that kind of story, or, broke down. It just works. It's, and it's just a simple motorcycle for, dual sport is simple riding generally, unless you throw in some hard enduro stuff, but dual sporting is just simple riding. And this thing is a simple machine for that. And I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it should come with a fishing pole holder.
It totally could. That could be in the catalog.
Yeah. Okay, Adam, let's hear yours.
I guess my story would be probably just first riding it, maybe like 2007-ish. So what would that be, 18 years ago? And I remember riding it, and even in 2007, I was riding it, and I'm like, God, this bike just feels like a dinosaur. It feels so old. And that was just, 18 years ago. And fast forward to today, and I don't think that motorcycle has changed in terms of its feeling. But, it's just funny how a bike can just live that long. And yeah, it felt old, but still the basic character of it was fine. Had a lot of torque, nice tall seat, which could be good for some people, bad for others, but usually that means it's going to be a little bit better in terms of ground clearance and getting over stuff. And yeah, it's a little heavy and a little big, but if you're riding on that just, wider fire road, that thing is it's so much better than just a conventional dirt bike, in that type of terrain, that, it's a cool bike. I just wish it had an LED headlight now. LED headlight would be a nice upgrade.
Yeah, for sure. Well, okay, so my story is about how it's not better than a conventional dirt bike. So my dad, he's always been into big dual sports and that kind of stuff. And it was 93, first year, the XR 650L, he bought one. And there was a Best in the Desert race out in Nevada, Tonopah, Nevada, the Tonopah 300. In those days, Best in the Desert motorcycle races were a team race. It was like racing score, where you had multiple people riding, you could have teams. And so my dad wanted me to team up with him. And I thought we were going to ride my KX250, but he vetoed that because he was paying the bills at the time. And he's like, no, we're riding the XR650L. And he had already done a bunch of stuff to the XR650. He had put like a high compression piston in it, and he got some suspension work done on it and a bunch of stuff. He made it even like more powerful, which it didn't need to be, especially for me. At the time I would be 17, I think 16 or 17. And so we go out and we do this race, and he does the first loop, and he comes in, and he's quite a ways back. I mean, at that time he was probably my age. Actually, he was probably in his late 40s, and we had to sign up for whatever the highest class was for skill level. So I think we were racing like amateur or expert. He would be racing like novice or whatever, but I think I was either amateur or expert at the time. And so he came in and he was kind of a little bit behind, and my brothers were racing together, and they were on a WR250, and they were miles ahead of us. And so I had to go, I got to make up time. Well, my half of the course was nothing but silt and rocks and silt and silt on silt. And then there was more silt. And I dropped that bike.
Was it dusty?
It was insane. And the thing was so fast and so gnarly. Even like it would make so much speed so quickly that it was hard to slow down almost. Like I was like, oh, I can't get my brain around this thing in terms of like, because of the momentum, because it had a bunch of weight. So like where I was used to riding a 250 two-stroke, you get to a section and you'd be hauling butt, you grab the brakes and you'd slow right down. Well, the XR is like trying to stop a freighter ship, at times. You got to think way ahead. And man, I crashed so many times and picked that bike up so many times. And maybe that adds to my dislike of the XR650L.
That colors your opinion a little bit?
It could. I mean, it's a good story. I have an amazing picture that my uncle took coming into the pits where I went over the bars in the silt, and the bike is cartwheeling, and I'm flying through the air, and my head is just touching down in the silt, making like a water splash. But, so the bike tried to kill me multiple times. And so maybe I've just never gotten over that. I got PTSD.
Yeah, I can see how anything would be trouble, racing it or going quick, because as soon as you get on the brakes, I mean, it's so softly swinging, all the weight just transfers right onto the front wheel, and
very much so.
Yeah, it's not a go fast machine. It's like
Yeah, and like my dad, he's 6'2", and I'm 5'10" on a good day. So like it fit him fine, but for me, it's tough to get on, especially when you're a younger guy and you're not an expert rider yet. So I don't know, but even after that, I'll always give it credit as being a great motorcycle, just not a great motorcycle for me. So, yeah, I don't know. That's my XR story. Not as rosy as yours.
That's a good one. I haven't heard too many XR650L race stories, to be honest.
This is true.
Not often the chosen machine.
And the insane part is he had an XR600R in the garage at the same time. But for some reason, we had to ride the new bike instead of the 2-year-old XR600R, which would have been better. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, how would Honda update that thing? Like, what would be the chosen updates?
I would start with the ergonomics. I think that would modernize the feel of the bike quite a bit. Put some wider, taller bars on it. I think maybe rework the tank and the shroud shape. Make the tank a little bit bigger. Get rid of the air shrouds that are there that have been there since day one. Or at least modernize them, make them more pointy, and maybe slow up the seat a little bit. And I think you'd have and then put some like real sized human foot pegs on it, instead of the old school mini pegs. And I think you would go a long way into like just making it feel more modern right off the bat. I don't think you even have to touch the suspension. I think it just needs to feel more modern.
Yeah, that's fair. You're saying increase the fuel capacity, like
Yeah,
get rid of the phony
Mhm.
shrouds.
Get rid of the phony shrouds, use that
Yeah.
space for fuel, add a little bit of fuel, which would give it more range, which would entice some long distance dual sport / ADV riders to take a good look at it off the showroom floor instead of going, oh, I got to buy a tank and I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. Granted, the price is lower, but it's still work, and you can buy other things that are done that may be better, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll take your fuel capacity and foot peg upgrade, and I'll raise you um, uh, new handlebars a little
Mhm.
bit. And oddly, I would say the seat. I find the seat, it's so soft, it's too soft.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting on it after a while, my butt sinks into it, and my butt gets sore.
Yeah, it squeezes your butt.
Yeah, and then with those little foot pegs, you stand up, and those foot pegs, your foot is just bending over the foot peg all day. So at the end of as comfortable and as great as it is, at the end of the day, your feet hurt and your butt hurts.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, that's what I was saying. Like if you modernize the ergos and the way it feels, and like slim up the seat, make it stiffer. Which if you slim up the seat, you could actually maybe drop the seat. I don't know. Because I don't think that the foot peg to seat ratio is that bad. Like the distance, it's not cramped that way. It's more cramped. Nice. It's more cramped with the bars into your body.
Yeah, the triangle is a little cramped.
Yeah, it's hard to get over the front and like stand up and hold on going up hills and things like that.
Yeah, even the standing triangle is a little. I guess cramped is the word, because you're kind of leaning over the bars more than you really want to be.
Yeah, you've got the bars in your lap.
Yeah, it's goofy. A lot of those old school bikes are just goofy ergonomic style,
Yeah. So like that's the upgrade list, but I mean, how many more years do you think they're going to go without changing a thing? We should have like a bet on how long it's going to go. How many more years?
What do we want to bet? We want to bet push-ups? What do we want to bet? You want to bet $1?
Let's bet $1.
Okay.
Cash
how many years?
King. Okay, I will set the line, and then that line, I'll take 6 months either side of that line, and then one of you pick over, one of you pick under. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. Plan.
Okay, so I'm gonna say it goes another 4 years. And
I'm gonna go.
Hold on. No. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Jeff, you go first.
5.
Adam?
I was going to say 4.
It was 7. So Jeff, you get to pick the over or under.
I went double with the over under. I picked 5 because I figured I had a better chance of.
So are you picking under 4 years or over 4 years?
Oh, I'm going to pick over. I don't think it's going to be significantly updated, other than what they've done. Reshape the mirrors and change the wheel color.
Yeah, okay.
I think it'll be more than 5 years.
So Adam, you're kind of the odds are very much against you. Under 4 years.
Yeah.
So sorry, you've lost $1 already, Adam. You can pay.
I know.
You can put it like in a jar somewhere and hold on to it, whatever you want to do. But in
5 years, that $1 will probably only be worth about 70 cents. So
exactly. Yeah. So, so let's finish it off with like why do you think we've kind of gone over it, but let's go back to why is it so popular? And I'm going to start with the price. The price has always been reasonable for that motorcycle since its inception. I mean, it was a little high, maybe a little bit high when it first came out, but not by much. And I think it's been reasonable through its entire lifespan. And you've got, whatever it may be, 1,500 Honda dealers, and they all have one in it. So, you walk in, you go, I want a motorcycle that goes off road, and you don't know what you want. And you see that thing, it's a good price, you snatch it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would imagine it's not a great seller for dealers, but it's still very reliable. They know probably exactly how many they're going to sell every year.
Mm-hmm.
However many that number is. They just get them and then they're gone.
Yeah, and but that's the one thing though with dealerships. You know, they really don't make their money on selling the bike. They make their money on service, and they gotta be pumped at how many they sell. But they gotta know also, once that thing goes out the door, it's probably never coming back.
They'll probably never see it again. Yeah,
they will never ever see it again, which is a great thing for the buyer, and it's for the dealer, it's kind of a bummer. But
the dealer sees that guy coming in, and I got just oil and a filter again.
Yeah, just oil and filter. Yeah. Oh, you need more air filter oil. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You need anything else for that bike? No, it's good. You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's your reason for why it's so popular.
Exactly. Do you want us to do the valve adjustments? No, man, it's easy. I'll do it myself. There's tons of room to get to the adjusters. I got feeler gauges at home in my toolbox. I can do it. You know.
Yeah.
Piece of cake. Super simple.
Easy to work on if you can get it on a if you can lift it up on a center stand.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
That's probably the hardest part.
Yeah. Absolutely. Is there any other reasons why you guys would think it's popular?
Well, I mean, it's obvious. It's a Honda. You know,
yeah.
People love the new colorway. I mean, it certainly looks cool now. I mean, every time I see one, I'm like, "What is that?" Oh, it's that bike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just doing the colorway on it actually helped quite a bit. The stripe and the black wheels modernized it quite a bit. But I think there's also a nostalgia for the bike in a way as well. Like it's a known quantity, and it's been a known quantity for a long time. And so people just go, "Yeah, man, that thing's cool." My buddies have one. My buddy's got a 2001. My other buddy's got a 94, and someone's got a 2012. I'm going to get one. Why not?
Yeah. I always remember the Johnny Campbell racing posters and stuff on that bike, you know, Johnny Campbell posters, you know, and that's got some nostalgia for, older folks.
Yeah. I mean, he rode the XR650R most of the time, but I think they put him on a L at times, and I think they even put Scott Summers on an L for a little bit, just for fun. But the connection to Honda racing, it's the only 650 Honda you can get now. You can't get a 650R. You know, they stopped selling those quite a long time ago. So okay, I'll get a 650L. And live out my Johnny Campbell fantasies.
Yeah. The King of Baja.
Yep. Any closing words on the XR650 before we get out of here?
Cool bike. I think I haven't owned one, but I think one day I will. Like I think that's a great all rounder. You know, I wouldn't necessarily buy it for just its off-roading ability. You know, I would also buy it because where I live in Southern California, it would be great on the pavement.
Yeah, cool.
It'd be a good bike to have when the world ends.
For sure.
There you go. Yeah, good bug out bike. So, I would say that the XR650, it exists for a reason. It's an awesome value. It's got great reliability, and it has a sweet price. So that's where I would put it. I mean, Jeff says he probably own one. I know I probably won't. Adam, you probably or probably not own one.
I guess if there was space in the garage, I want to have every bike if there's space in the garage. There's no bike that you wouldn't want to have.
Cool. 2 out of 3. That's a pretty glowing endorsement for this crew. So, how about you, the reader, listener? Would you own one? Let us know in the comments. We appreciate all your support. Like, comment, subscribe, comment. Let us know. Tell us your XR stories. Tell us how your dad made you ride one as well, and you hated it just as much as I did. So we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.